crashed.
That'll be fun later. See how much of it is just frozen.
So these were the laws and policies that were mentioned in the book.
Yes.
The criminalization of abortion.
Mm-hmm.
So it was made illegal in the United States until Roe v. Wade in 1973. So that was the lack of legal access to abortion meant that many women had no choice but to carry their pregnancies to term, often leading to the decision to surrender their babies for adoption, or going out and finding a doctor who probably had no idea what they were doing.
As we all saw in the great film Dirty Dancing.
Yep. And ended up doing so much damage or killing people in the process. There was the lack of sex education and contraception. So the Comstock Act of 1873, which classified contraception as obscene and prohibited its distribution, was not overturned until the 1960s. So
that's why he's a mortal enemy now.
Yep. Like, what in the world were you thinking, sir? Oh, did he kind of open the door? You might want to lock the door so we can't open it.
So we don't see right now. Yeah, I see you too.
We're at the shelter and things happen.
I see you. I see you.
You poked my cheek.
Oh, it's so cute. Oh my god. Kyle, my heart.
The uplifting bit we needed to get through the end of this.
Maternity homes and adoption agencies. So political and societal norms supported the establishment of maternity homes. And these homes were often pressured, so that was insane. And just like social welfare policies, such as the aid to dependent children programs were designed to support worthy mothers, often excluding unwed mothers from receiving any sort of aid. So like that was even more pressure for women to give up their children. And when it came to like specific laws, I already talked about the Comstock Act. There were a bunch of different adoption policies, and these adoption policies were heavily influenced by societal norms and religious beliefs. So adoption agencies and maternity homes often operated under policies that prioritized the needs of adoptive parents instead of the birth mothers. And then here came Roe v. Wade, which sadly has been overturned. But the legalization of abortion provided women with a lot more options and control over their choices. But it's no longer a thing anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm still actively mad at the Arkansas Supreme Court.
Yeah.
And the United States Supreme Court.
Yeah.
Active anger.
But, you know, we live in Arkansas, which is a hellscape, so yay.
Where it's just a handful of people trying to keep anyone from voting on anything. So they can maintain control over us. Can't say things, but I want to say things. Okay. We're going to go into the next question so I don't run my mouth and get us in trouble. What kinds of support systems, if any, were available to the women during their pregnancies and after giving up their children? How did the presence or absence of support systems affect their experiences?
We've already talked about the hellscapes that were maternity homes. And how family support was crap. Religious institutions were horrible.
Yeah.
And how adoption agencies were also horrible. And how the lack of awesome support systems led to emotional isolation, long-term psychological impacts, and economic hardship.
Yeah. If that's all.
So, like, there you go. There was nothing. Or they're like, and honestly, there needs to be another book just based off of the women who had to go and get, like, back alley abortions because of crap like this happening.
Yeah.
More book ideas.
And Fessler.
Go get them.
Let's see, how did Brenda blah, 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 blah. Okay, I think that covers that one.
Mm-hmm.
Next. How do the women interviewed in the book reflect on their experiences in hindsight? What lessons do they hope future generations will learn from their stories?
Grief and loss
Mm-hmm.
is such a heavy thing in this book.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so much grief and so much pain.
Mm-hmm.
And there are so many who were able to take it and turn it into something that is going to be something people talk about. We're talking about it. I hope you guys talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
And turn it into a lesson about the importance of choice and autonomy.
Mm-hmm.
Reproductive choice and autonomy are something that can not understanding. I'm trying to choose my words carefully.
Yes. Tread lightly.
Future generations need to understand the devastating impact of having their choices taken away from them and advocate for policies that support women's rights to make decisions about their own bodies.
Yes.
It is unfair
Mm-hmm.
when you have people who can make those choices and then the other half of your population cannot.
Yeah.
Because it leads to so much heartbreak
Mm-hmm.
on so many different levels.
Mm-hmm.
For multiple generations. Not only by that person who had their choice taken away, but the children that come from that, the people around them who come from that.
Yeah.
Because it is going to be something that is felt for generations to come. And it is something that, like, so many people now are fighting for to, because we had bodily autonomy.
Yeah.
At least in some capacity.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, it's horrible that we have lived in a generation that had that and then had it taken away.
Yeah.
And there are people who are actively working to make sure that stays that way.
And
And
it's putting so many people at risk. I mean, not only from the, like, obvious health aspects that we are seeing, but
people are dying because
Yeah.
they don't have bodily autonomy.
but so many people are now being forced to make these horrible choices after they have endured things like rape or incest of, well, am I going to have to travel 5 states away, or am I gonna have to either keep this child or give it up for adoption? And we know that it's like there's no just like give it up and move on. It's like they are going to be impacted for their entire lives because they do not have any other choices available to them. On top of the trauma that they already dealt with being in this situation in the first place.
Like, if they don't have the money to travel 5 states away, what makes you think they're going to have money to support a child? A whole ass child. And
you can't, like, responsibly say, well, just give it up for adoption. It'll go to better parents. It's like, first of all, you don't know that it will.
No.
Second of all, it's like, it's not better. It's like, it's not, there's no moving on. It is not as simple as just get over it. There's no getting over it. You will be impacted severely.
I don't know. Like, the whole thing when it comes to being able to have bodily autonomy, there are books like these that have so much hope and so much, like, wanting to make a change, wanting to have people have more compassion and make a more supportive environment for people who are facing, and it's not just women, despite what some people think. It's not just women who get unplanned pregnancies. They want to make sure that these people are receiving emotional and practical support without judgment.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we live in a society that you are going to be judged whatever your choices are.
Yeah. Like, we've talked a lot about the loss of Roe v. Wade and abortion access, but it's like so many of the women in this book do not talk about abortion. They talk about how they wanted to keep their children and were actively not allowed to.
Yeah.
And it's like, if things continue the way they're going, we're gonna end up back in this scenario. And people are gonna have their children ripped away from them that they want, that they actively want. because they're not having them the right way.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just going to be enough that they have the babies. It's going to be enough that it's going to turn into you're not the right person to have that baby.
Yeah.
Because it's all about power and control.
Mm-hmm.
I have to hold myself so far back.
Yep.
It's like, get the point, but also...
Yeah. But I think a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people, when it came to sharing their stories, like, the importance of this book is that there are people who are wanting to share their stories
Mm-hmm.
so they can help break a cycle.
Yeah.
And breaking cycles is incredibly hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that so many people struggle with, especially when it comes to a cycle that was built on shame
Mm-hmm.
and secrecy.
Yeah.
And this sort of book should and is hopefully fostering the ability to be open and honest about issues
Mm-hmm.
and helping to reduce stigma and promoting healing for anybody who's gone through a situation like this or who has gone through this situation.
Mm-hmm.
I am sure there are so many people who are out there. I'm not sure I know.
Mm-hmm.
I know that there are probably people out there who were in this situation
Mm-hmm.
or a child of somebody who was in this situation who have no idea that they even went through this.
Yeah.
Probably have no idea they were
Mm-hmm.
adopted because
Yeah.
even adoption
Mm-hmm.
was one of those things that was kind of frowned upon. And it still sometimes is.
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't tell people, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, I'm sure there are people who went through this, which is horrible to think about. Like, if like, having to find out, oh, you're not actually my mom and dad. Like, stuff like that. So, like, a book like this is a gut-wrenching truth
Mm-hmm.
that needs to open up a conversation. And
Yeah.
I think that's what anybody who is in this book wanted to do.
Mm-hmm. Let women make decisions about their bodies. Or decisions at all. About anything. Let women be respected.
Yep.
Okay.
What are y'all reading next month? Because I won't be here.
We are reading The Distance Between Us by Reina Grande. Feel free to read along and just...
I'm gonna try
answer
to.
the
I'll send you some
Mhm.
questions
Yeah.
and stuff. I just won't be here, so y'all will have to have a dissertation by yourselves.
Yeah. I've got it on my Kindle, otherwise I would hold it up and show it
Yeah.
to you. You just have to believe me, the book is real.
I'm gonna try to work on finding us a really good book about foster care or like that lady, that adoption lady.
Yeah.
After this month, when I'll be back.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we will see you next month, except Zoe, who won't be here. Who
Yeah.
will see you in 2 months.
I'll be here in spirit.
Yes.
Might join the live stream.
Yeah.
I'll be
That'll be
on
fun.
camera next time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Kai will be on
Exciting.
camera.
You'll get to meet the interns. It'll be a
Maybe
good
just
time.
one. Maybe just one.
Scary.
At least one intern.
Yep. Yay, interns!
Yay. All right. Is that everything?
I think so.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.